Here's something nobody tells you about type 2 diabetes. By the time you're diagnosed, your body has usually been fighting this battle for years, quietly, without a single symptom you'd notice. That afternoon crash that hits you like a wall around 3 p.m., the thirst that never quite goes away no matter how much water you drink, the tiredness that sleep doesn't seem to fix anymore. Most people write these off as just getting older. They're not. They're your blood sugar telling you it's struggling to do its job. And here's the part that catches people off guard. It's not really about sugar. It's about how your body handles everything you eat. Every slice of bread, every bowl of pasta, and especially every glass of orange juice. Because liquid carbohydrates have no fiber to slow them down, they hit your bloodstream incredibly fast, and they all get broken down into glucose. Normally, insulin steps in like a key, unlocking your cells so that glucose can get in and become energy. But when you have insulin resistance, the engine behind type 2 diabetes, those locks get stiff. Glucose piles up in the bloodstream instead of fueling your cells. Over the years, that excess sugar quietly damages blood vessels, nerves, your eyes, and your kidneys. So if you've been told your only options are medication and giving up carbs forever, I want you to stay with me, because that's not the full picture. Let me ask you something. When you think about diabetic-friendly food, what comes to mind? Bland? Restrictive? A life of counting and denying yourself? I hear this from people constantly, and I understand why. Most advice out there is about what to cut out. But blood sugar management isn't just about restriction. It's about strategy. Now, a quick reminder before we dive in, I'm not a doctor and this isn't medical advice. Always talk to your healthcare provider before making changes, especially if you take blood sugar medications, because these tips actually work. There are specific foods that actively help your body regulate glucose more effectively, not by magic, but by mechanism. Let's talk about the 4 things that actually work. First, soluble fiber. You'll find this in foods like oats, beans, and lentils. Soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance in your gut that slows down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream. Instead of a massive spike, you get a gentle rise. Think of it as the difference between water pouring through a wide-open tap versus trickling through a narrow one. Second, protein and healthy fats paired with your carbohydrates. A study population who added a source of protein or fat, say nuts, eggs, or olive oil, alongside carbohydrate-heavy meals showed measurably flatter post-meal glucose curves than those who ate carbs alone. It's not about eating less, it's about eating in combination. Third, non-starchy vegetables, leafy greens, broccoli, peppers. These add volume and nutrients without the glucose load. Filling exactly half your plate with these before adding your starches is one of the simplest shifts with an outsized effect. And fourth, vinegar. Believe it or not, research has consistently shown that a small amount of vinegar before a carbohydrate-containing meal can blunt the resulting blood sugar spike. It slows stomach emptying and interferes with starch digestion. None of these require you to eliminate the foods you love. They require you to be more intentional about what surrounds them. I know this can feel like a lot to take in, especially if you're newly diagnosed or watching a loved one navigate this. But here's what I want you to hold on to. Type 2 diabetes is one of the most responsive conditions to dietary change that exists in medicine. That's not me minimizing it, that's the science. Every meal is a new opportunity to influence your outcome. Not perfection, just consistent, small decisions. So here is your homework for this week. Pick just one of these experiments. At your very next meal that includes carbohydrates, add a source of protein or fat alongside it. A handful of nuts, a spoon of nut butter, an egg. Just notice how you feel afterward. Or, before dinner tonight, try 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar diluted in a small glass of water, always heavily diluted to protect your tooth enamel, about 10 minutes before you eat. It's a small experiment, it's backed by real evidence, and it costs you nothing to try. Your blood sugar isn't fixed, it's responsive, and that response starts with your very next meal. I'll see you in the next one.